Double Fries No Slaw, the morning show, Tuesday morning. And what are we talking about today? Whatever you guys want. Some depth chart stuff that, I don't know. I don't think it's that crucial, but it does suck with guys getting hurt or injured or stepping away from the team or whatever to focus on other sports. But we can talk about all that. We can talk. Listen, we said, well, I won't get into it. We'll start a little slower. We won't go so wham bam on that one. But this week is certainly important. I'm sure most of you listen to Cameron, and I saw a clip by No Gifts on Twitter of Cameron just saying how important this game was for Mike. And man, I tend to agree. I tend to think that if you don't win this one, and it starts to get really weird around Norvell's seat, as I'm obviously looking for something and not finding it. Certainly would think this is important for Mike. And a game that they should win, right? We'll talk more about it tomorrow night when we preview it. Now I can put that down and focus. But man, if there was ever a time to get right and get off the snide, which they're on right now, it would be this weekend against a team that you are going to be better than. I don't know how disappointed I really was. And I talked about this on Sunday, but I was disappointed they didn't play well. I don't know how much it would have mattered. I thought they did play well in some areas. They executed okay. They got a lot of, they didn't do a great job of converting, but they outgained Miami. They stopped the run better than Miami did. Just can't have turnovers and explosive plays, We have, I will tell you this, we have a call-in available. I've had several of you ask about calling in, and you certainly are welcome to anytime. The link is on the description, or is in the description, and then we'll also throw it in the comments if anybody would like to call in. If not, I'll just ramble for 30 minutes, and we'll call it a day. Obviously, just some housekeeping type stuff, news and notes. BJ Gibson no longer with the football program to focus a little bit more on baseball. He's a really talented. I know we don't talk about. We usually just kind of keep it football and maybe just give a little love here and there to the other sports. He is really. I mean, he's going to play for the baseball team, I would imagine, and I think that's more his path. I don't know that he was ever going to come in and make a difference on the football team. I did like all the comments about him potentially being the punt returner as a center fielder. That kind of made sense. I think they feel a little bit more comfortable with who we've got now back there. Was it Squirrel White returning punts this week, Harlan? Am I right on that? So I think they feel pretty good there, but we'll see. And then Quindarius Jones, who didn't really break through up to be a starter. When he first got here, I was really excited for Q Jones, and there was a lot of just hype around him, and man, this guy's going to be really good. And I still think that's possible, but it does definitely suck that now in his second year, he's missing most of the year or most of the playing year and not able to play for the rest of the year. And you just hope that, in year 3, coming off an injury, he can have a pretty good year, because I do think he has all the talent in the world. And so it sucks to see him go down. What's Wesley saying here? Dude, I'm up. So I passed through that area literally just to go to Tallahassee. All right. So Wesley says he's in, up in the Villages area. I went to this place. I don't want to get the name of it wrong, but it's a steakhouse out that way. I don't know what it is, but it's okay. I think it's called the Backroom Steakhouse. And where's that at? Well, now I can't find the address. Oh, like Apopka area. So that's a little bit past you a little bit, but I had to pass right through that area to go to it. I went with a buddy a few weeks ago. Dude, I'm down. I passed that through that way every time I go to Tallahassee, obviously. Not all the way over to the Villages, but up through like Ocala and stuff. All right, let's get started. What was the first 10 minutes then, or 5 minutes? I do want to get you guys' thoughts, and so if you'll just hit the comments and tell me am I right about, not right, but just, do you feel the same way? Like, obviously you're more pissed off about losing to Miami than you are Virginia, but I was, just because of their fans and the rivalry and all that stuff, I was much more upset about the Virginia loss. I don't know if that's just me being a bad fan. I don't know if that's me just not having having all the passion beat out of me. Maybe I was focused on other things this weekend. I don't know. Maybe my mind wasn't in the right spot. But I just thought Miami was better. I just thought they were better. And when you lose to a team that's better than you, you can be upset, but I don't know. I just wasn't really that surprised. I'm more frustrated with the big picture of just where we are as a program and where they are as a program. I think those are two different places. Now, Florida State might still win a lot of games, and Miami might choke like they do every year in November. I get it. Both those things would be great if they both happened. I think the likelihood of that is relatively small, but here's to hoping. I think the season all comes down to, if they beat Pitt and get to 4-2 and get up out of the top, number 25, right? Like, you'll rise a couple spots because teams around you will lose. If they can do that, they're going to win the next two games. They're going to beat Wake and they're going to beat Stanford. And they're going to be 6-2 going into November. And when you're 6-2 going into November, you've got games against Virginia Tech, Clemson, NC State, and Florida. And you can absolutely go 4-0 in that stretch. Could you potentially go, I think 2-2 would be your worst case scenario. I just cannot see you losing all three to Clemson, NC State, and Florida. I think you've got a great chance to go 3-1. If you go into November at 6-2, there's not a game that's not winnable on the schedule left. You can absolutely beat all four teams. In fact, we did kind of a look ahead to the rest of the year. We didn't do a specific, again, not that FPI is the most perfect thing in the world. We didn't do a specific look at the FPI for Clemson in Florida. I don't know what ESPN would tell us about those now, but Florida State's still a favorite, according to ESPN, in South Carolina, 58.2 to 41.8, and just a slight underdog to Florida, who it's 48.8 for Florida State and 51.2 for Florida. So, just by a razor thin margin, if they lose to A&M this week and Florida State beats Pitt, which they should, Florida State's like a 72% favorite there, according to ESPN's FPI. If they do that, they will be a favorite in the swamp, according to the advanced analytics. I wonder what S&P Plus has. I'm not going to look that up and take the time to do it. But I do think that, you got a chance to go. I'm not going to predict that they go 10-2. But I think anything less than 9-3 with this schedule would be pretty disappointing, right? I think you should beat Pitt. You have to beat Pitt. Like, that's not even a question. You have to beat Pitt. You can't slip up against Wake Forest, Stanford, or Virginia Tech. That's 4 wins. You're up to 7-2. 7 wins, 2 losses. You get one more oops, I think, this year. Now they go 8-4. They're not firing him. They're not making a change. And I don't know if they should fire him at 8-4. I know that's not the standard. I know, and the bowl game result doesn't matter. So you might get to 9 wins anyway. But I think you get one more slip up, and it can't be to like Wake or Stanford or something like that. It'd be great to beat both Florida and Clemson and NC State and all those other teams. But I think you really need to win everything in October. You get one loss in November. Get to 9 wins. Bowl results don't matter, but sure, go get to 10 in a bowl game and feel better about the trajectory. Big picture, how much does it matter because of the guys you're going to lose in the portal, or not in the portal, just due to eligibility? I don't know, but 10 feels a hell of a lot better than 2. To go from 13 to 2-10 back to 10-2. yeah, it would feel better. If I'd have offered you 10 wins, even if it was including the bowl win before the season, you'd feel pretty good. I know it's down in the dumps right now because you just lost 2 straight and you weren't really competitive against Miami. Great fourth quarter, great fight. That was much better than last year. Yes, I get it. That's a positive takeaway. But you weren't really competitive with Miami. You can trick yourself by looking at the box score, but there was never a time that it felt like Florida State was going to win. Maybe on that first drive, you could kind of convince yourself that, hey, man, we're driving on them. Maybe we can do this all game. But you knew it was going to be a bigger battle than just the first drive. And not getting 7 there took all the wind out of that sail. I usually pour coffee well in advance of the show. And today I poured it and it's way too hot right now. Do you guys, this is random. I'm a baby. And I think as I've gotten older, I'm more of a baby. Like my kid will get, like, I'll be bathing my kids and they'll put the shower all the way to hot. And I'm just like, how do you even stand that? I like a hot shower, but not like that. You people out there, maybe it's an age thing. Maybe kids just are immune to it. But my kid will turn that thing all the way to hot. And I'm just like, what are you doing? I can't even rinse their hair out. Anyway, that's not why you guys tuned in. Matthew's going to call in. There's some good news. Skip some class for us. I agree. The loss against Virginia pissed me off. Yeah, we should have won that game. You really shouldn't have beaten Miami. Like you didn't lose in a last second field goal or because of overtime. Yeah, I mean, they just beat you, right? They were the better team. They just beat you. I was upset about losing to the Canes always, but like, I wasn't that upset. I mean, they were better than you. Were they that upset when we beat them in 2013 and 14 and 15 and 16 and 12 and 11? Like, no, you just lost to a better team. Like, it just is what it is. Were they that upset when they lost in 22 or 23? No, they were trash. I mean, I was frustrated with the sloppy play, right? Like you had a chance to remain competitive for longer. And if you remain competitive for longer, maybe that bad fourth quarter by Miami and Mario, maybe that matters. But they gave you the worst fourth quarter ever. You outscored them 19-0, and that didn't even matter, right? You still needed a miracle onside kick return, which I don't know how we train onside kicks, but all 3 of those were terrible. I agree with that. Loss against Virginia. Yep. Joe says, I wasn't too upset. I think Miami should be number 1. I think UVA is underrated. If we run the table, there's a very good chance we can still play in the ACC championship. We can rematch, not likely, but possible. I think there's a chance you could get to the playoff. I don't know how realistic it is to think you could get to the ACC championship. And here's why I say that. Miami's schedule. Let's look at this real quick, and then I'll give Halo some love, and then we'll move on. Miami's football schedule. They got a bye week before they play Louisville. I think they beat Louisville. I think that's the best chance for them to lose, but I don't think they do. Then they play Stanford. They're beating the heck out of them. It's in Coral Gables. They got to go to SMU. Maybe they could lose that one. Their last 3 games, Syracuse, NC State, Syracuse playing with a backup quarterback, NC State, that's down in Miami, and Virginia Tech also playing with a fired head coach, like without their head coach. Oh, and then last week of the year, they do play at Pittsburgh. So, like a best case scenario to me, if you're an FSU fan, you want Miami to lose. Worst case for Miami, maybe they drop Louisville and Pittsburgh. I don't think they drop either one of them. I don't think those teams are very good. But if you're looking for hope as to why they could lose 2 games, the problem is even if they lose those 2 games, they're not falling out of the ACC championship because they've got the tiebreaker on you, right? Even if you go undefeated, they are in ahead of you. Virginia, their ACC schedule the rest of the way. They play UNC. They're going to win that. Bill Belichick's an absolute disaster. They play at Cal. Maybe going on the road presents a challenge. But, say they lose that one. Say they lose to Cal. They're going to beat Wake Forest back at Virginia. They're going to win that. Then they play Duke and Virginia Tech at home. You would need them to lose both of those. And I don't think they lose either one of them. Maybe Duke could beat them. Maybe they got to go on the road to Durham. Maybe that's possible, but you need Virginia to lose 3 games. And then, aside from all of that, you need Georgia Tech to lose at least 2 and then beat them on a tiebreaker. They've got 6 ACC games left. Virginia Tech, I think they beat them. They go to Duke. Honestly, I think they beat them too. They play Syracuse at home. It's always tough to play in Atlanta. They go on the road to NC State. They play Boston College, who might be the worst team in the ACC. It's them or Stanford. And then they play Pittsburgh at home. Maybe Georgia Tech could drop 2 of those. You need them to start dropping them fast, though, because you're running out of chances. So you need some combination of Florida State going undefeated in the ACC the rest of the way, which is possible. The Clemson one's going to be the toughest. You need Georgia Tech to lose 2 and beat them in a tiebreaker, or you need Virginia and Miami to both lose 3. I think that's asking a lot. You need to start rooting for ACC chaos if you want that. But I think at 10-2, I think if you go 10-2 and Clemson can kind of pull their head up a little bit and Miami and Virginia that's the other thing. Do you want to cheer against Virginia because it helps you in the ACC? Or do you just want to cheer for Virginia and Miami to both finish top 10 and hope that your losses against them, close losses against them, both by 1 score, help you sneak into the back end of the playoff? I would like to go to the playoff. I don't know if I really care. I don't think this is a team that can compete for it all, but obviously it'd be fun to go to the playoff. If they win 10 games, whether they get in the playoff or not, I'll consider that pretty successful because they lost to 2 pretty good teams. So that's my thought on that. ACC championship, going to be tough, but playoff probably not outside of the realm of possibility. Hate to be that guy, but I'm done with Norvell. I think Norvell has kind of shown you who he is at this point. And I like Mike Norvell. I think he is a great person. I think he's a good motivator. I think he hired well this offseason. I think more often than not, he does the right thing in the portal. He's not going to be an elite recruiter, I don't think, ever. And Saturday showed you that the difference in talent matters. The difference in talent along the trenches matters. And I don't see that changing. I don't see that just all of a sudden getting better. So, Nick, I don't necessarily think you're wrong. It sucks, but I think they're going to win enough games this year to where that doesn't, where that doesn't matter, right? Like they're going to bring him back. Levon, I don't know how to say that, man. Lee Evan, you have to phonetically write your name out for me, man. So Mr. Moffitt, I can say Moffitt. Okay. We need to win this week. Agree that I said the Virginia game was maybe the most important game for quite a while. I do think this one now is pretty important. Big Zodi TV, Miami schedule's weak as hell. They're going 10-12-0. Yeah, I'd be surprised. They may drop 1, but I don't see if they're going to lose 2. I see Matthew in here. Let me give Halo some love, and then we will go on to Matthew. Oh, Matthew dropped out, but we'll get him right back in here. I don't even know if we have we just have Halos on the screen the entire time. The Halo guys were out at the tailgate. My buddies Chris and David giving out their THC seltzer and letting you guys try that. If you haven't already, you should go to drinkhalo.com and listen, there's a lemonade, there's a tea, there's actually one that's already blended. You don't have to buy both of them and do mixing like you're a mad scientist. You can just get the mixed one already. The Arnold Palmer type flavor, I don't think it says that because you're not allowed to, you got to like trademark and stuff, but low calorie, very discreet shipping, a really good product. I had some friends in town that tried it and they were like, I got to sit down for just a minute. So yeah, there's some effects that come with it, but certainly might put you in a better mood after your team just lost 2 games. So drinkhalo.com. We appreciate them for their support. Listen, we need to give some of that away. Matthew would be my pick to win a thing of that, but I think I don't think Matthew quite qualifies for the age limit on that. So we'll have to give them away in Matthew's honor to somebody else that can sign for a 21-year-old package. But appreciate Drink Halo for their support. Virginia will lose 2 more games. I think it's possible, but you need them to lose 3. That's what's tough. We did the Virginia schedule, right? I can pull it back up. They're not losing to UNC, and they're not losing to Wake Forest or Virginia Tech. So your best case would be them losing to Cal and Duke, and I don't see them losing another one. Maybe they could drop the rivalry, but then your loss to them looks worse. If they finish 8-4, your loss to them looks like crap. So, all right, let's get Matthew in real quick before he has to. I know he's in and out of classes. Matthew, how's it going, man? You hear me okay, Matthew? Dude, he dropped off. I heard him. I heard he was in the halls while that was going. Dude, Joe, I'm with you. I'll be an optimist too. I'll say they could go to the playoff. I just don't know if they make it to Charlotte. Also, would you rather listen? I know we all want the rematch against Miami. Do you want to play Miami again? I know the rematch would be fun. It'd be great to beat them, or would you rather just sneak in at 10-2 and not have to face another loss? Because you go 10-2 and then lose to Miami and Charlotte, I don't think they put you in. I think they just say like, you're out of here. Do they try and get Jimbo back? All right, this is a good question. I asked this to two people that were one that's just close to the program, one that used to work within the program and was there not for football specifically, but just worked in the athletic department. And I would be pretty shocked if they went and got Jimbo back. Like that would just, the way he left, and administratively, a lot of the people that were there are no longer there. I don't know if that's a realistic thing or not. And you're seeing right now with like UCF and West Virginia and teams that have done this, you're not seeing just like the amazing results that maybe you thought you would, right? And that you're never going to it's hard to rebuild what you had in the past. So I love Jimbo. I'm over all the stuff. I was glad to see him there this weekend and doing the chop and being a fan. He looked like a fan, which was great to see. I just don't know if that's really going to be the thing that happens. So I don't know. Jimbo, I'm not even saying I wouldn't love it, for some reasons. I just don't know that he's going to come in here and just light the world on fire like maybe we would want. I don't know if he's elite anymore. I don't know if you can't do better than that, But I don't know that you can't do worse. You could certainly do worse than Jimbo. I'll say that. If you struck out a couple of times and you went after Lane Kiffin and he said no, and you went after somebody else, big, and they said no, and you're down to like, okay, well, it's down to a group of 5 guy. Yeah, I mean, maybe you would say you go to Jimbo because you at least think he would bring some stability, but I just don't see it happening. I don't see that is a realistic thing that Florida State would really do. And I've been wrong before, right? Specifically on my Virginia and Miami predictions. I do think, this is a good point by Joe. I do think that he would re-energize the fan base. I think there would be a lot of excitement about that. I mean, just him being there and doing the chop this weekend had people excited. So maybe it'd be good for donors. He certainly did a good job with that. And recruiting would probably take an uptick. When you look at some of his recruiting classes at A&M, though, man, they were filled with a lot of busts, kind of like his time here at the later years of Florida State. Shelley says, with the turnovers, they were close. They could have been a bit more competitive. I was pulling for him, but Miami is ultra talented this year, no question about it. Yeah, I mean, they're better than you from a talent perspective, and so you can't have 3 turnovers in a game and a turnover on down. Like, that can't be what you're doing. And so you had to play close to a perfect game, and you didn't, and they got out to a huge lead, and that was that. Like, there was no way you were going to come back from that. Jimbo let Winston call his own plays, guys. Natty, we should give Jameis that money. Matthew says it's not working. Bro, it's probably because they're putting blockers on you at school. You should have never said you were at school. You should have just texted me that or something. But they probably figured, the big brother probably is watching and figured out that you were skipping class to call into a podcast. Sinking at 10-2, FSU's 10-2, and Bama's FSU. Okay, here's a good one. Whew. All right, before I answer this one, if FSU's 10-2, Bama's 10-2, FSU would have to be in, right? I'll answer that in just a second, but first I am going to give some love to Tallahassee Ford, and then I'll answer that because that is a good question. Appreciate Tallahassee Ford. I'm going to tell you guys more about them as the weeks go on, but we quickly gave them a shout out on Sunday? We'll get Matthew in. I'll answer that question, then we'll get Matthew in. Quickly gave them a shout out on Sunday. Listen, none of you may be looking for a car right now. None of you may be needing one right now. But if and when you do, Tallahassee Ford is your place to go. Whether you're looking for just convenience, whether you're looking for pricing, they will beat everybody else. The other thing I'll tell you, and again, I know if you're not looking for a car, maybe you don't care about this. They do things a little bit differently. I know every car dealership says that. I know they don't even have a finance department. They can finance your car, but you deal with one person the entire time you're there, and you're not passed around to 5 different people like most car dealerships. Oh, you got this guy, you got to go check with this manager. You do it all with one person. And so they've changed kind of the way that there's that negative stereotype about pushy car salesmen and everything else. That's not the way it works there. My guy, Bill, that runs Tallahassee Ford, I sat in his office and we talked for about an hour and a half. And I literally asked those questions of, dude, people don't like to come into dealerships because they don't like the way they're treated. They don't like the way. And he said, no, we don't do that here. You deal with one person the whole time. Jonathan Vickers, Florida State former running back, is on staff there and could be your salesman. Go ask for him if you're in there. But they treat you right. It is a very family feel. I know every dealership says that. I couldn't leave the meeting. They finally had to kick me out because he had to go do some other thing because we just sat there talking ball, and they will do that with you too. So listen, you might not be in the market for a car today. You might be in the market for, give Tallahassee Ford a shot. They had a big old mural painting of Lee Corso on the side of the building. They're Seminole fans too. They give back to FSU. You walk in and you see all the plaques of all the stuff they've done to give back to FSU. They support with both the block party and the downtown get down and all those things. So check out Tallahassee Ford if you are in need. We'll certainly continue to give them love as time goes on. All right, let's pull that question back up, Harlan. If FSU goes 10-2 and Bama goes 10-2, FSU has to be in, right? Well, you would think so, right? Like that would be what makes sense logically. The head-to-head should matter. Brodom, man, I got news for you. I don't know. I don't know if they would do it or not. I think Bama losing another time would be helpful. And both teams being 10-2, that'd be really good. The head-to-head would matter. But are you convinced that the committee would not just say what you've seen on Twitter for the last month and what you've seen on social media and what you've seen in my comments? Is there at least, like, what's the percent of doubt in your mind? Because it's pretty high for me. And I'm usually pretty optimistic. I thought we were getting at 13-0, all these things. But I'm not convinced they don't just say, nah, it's not the same Bama team anymore. That's not the same Florida State team anymore. Those teams would forget about that win. Just like they forgot about the LSU win in 2023 when we beat the absolute dog out of them. And they just, those are different teams now, right? So I'd like to think so. But I ain't got a lot of confidence in the committee to do the right thing. I think if Bama goes 10-2, they're in Atlanta. And they would probably just say, those are different teams now. So I'm not trying to be negative. You probably need Bama to go 9-3, or else I don't feel real good about it because I fully would be prepared for them to screw us again. Let's get Brock in real quick, Harlan. Sorry, Matthew. Just go to class, bro. I don't know what to say. Brock, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man?
You on your way to class?
I'm on my way to work. Actually, I'm off today. We're having our twins tonight at my wife's getting induced tonight at midnight, so got a lot of doctor's appointments today. So
yeah, dude, today, congratulations. Today's
I made
the
it
day.
through the game.
Dude, almost wish you wouldn't have, right? Now that we know how it went.
Honestly, it drives me crazy. I feel like both games we could have won if we didn't have turnovers. The turnovers killed us.
Yeah, it felt like Tommy was playing a little bit of hero ball, right? Like, especially on the deep one that went back for so long. Like, he had Sawchuk wide open over the middle. And I know there was pressure, and maybe it would have taken time to get to those reads. Clay Fink's film review will come out today, and I'm sure he broke that play. Well, he broke down every play, so he certainly did. But I mean, yeah, you just didn't give yourself a chance, right? You had a chance in that game. You moved the ball well. You had more than 100 yards more than them. Like, you moved the ball okay. And 2 of your turnovers came within their 40, somewhat field goal range. And you lost by 6. You could have kicked 2 field goals and, potentially had a chance in the end. But Yeah, I mean, you just took yourself out of it.
Yeah, it's crazy seeing the stats at the end of the game, and I mean, we beat them in everything. So if we didn't have the turnovers, I know it still would have been close, but I still think we would have had a chance. And them coming back in the fourth quarter, super stressful. I like that they're fighting, but it drives me crazy. It gives me a heart attack. I'm just like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I do. It's hard for me to like. I hate the moral victory crap, right? Like, especially in year 6. Am I glad that they fought and lost by 6 instead of losing by 30? Yes, right. When it was
Yeah.
28-3, if they score another touchdown and go up 35-3, yeah, that is not a good look. It does look better they fought, right? But I'm tired of moral
Yeah.
victories in year 6. Like, this is not year 1 where we could, or year 2, right, where you lost to Notre Dame by 3 in overtime, and you're like, all right, man, good job. Year 6, you don't have moral victories, like, just be better.
Yeah. And I do think it's funny we're still ranked 25, but I do think some of that is, they want us to be ranked to make Alabama look good too. So, but hey, I'll take it, whatever.
I mean, you've got a chance, I think, if you win your next 3 games, which you should. You're going to be a 10-point favorite at least in all 3 of them. You win your next 3 games, I think you're probably, just with the way that other teams are going to play each other, you're probably going to be ranked somewhere around, I don't know, 17 to 18. Like, look who's in front of you. If you win this weekend, I mean, right in front of you is South Florida, Memphis, Iowa State, Arizona State, Vanderbilt. Like, all those teams are going to take more losses. Virginia, once they take another loss, you'll probably pass them too. BYU's 5-0 right now. They haven't played a soul. They'll take a couple of losses. Illinois plays Ohio State this weekend. When they lose, they'll drop below you. Notre Dame will keep winning, so you'll be fine there. Michigan's got to play USC. Missouri's got to play Bama. Like, all these teams ahead of you are going to lose, and you're going to climb just by default over the next 4 weeks. You have 3 games and a bye. If you just win, you'll get right back into the mix of it, and then what you do in November is going to matter. And it's a wide open year this year where there's not. I mean, there do look like 3 kind of dominant teams when you look at Miami, Oregon, and Ohio State. But outside of that, man, A&M could pick up a couple losses. Oklahoma doesn't have their quarterback right now. I do think Bama's good. Texas Tech is good. Georgia's good. LSU could pick up more losses. Tennessee's got to play Bama in 2 weeks. They got to go to Vandy. They got to play Oklahoma. They got to go to the Swamp. There's a lot of teams in front of you that are going to take some losses. And so if you just win, you'll be fine. It's frustrating right now, but there's a lot of room for them to, no pun intended, climb. What do you think about this Pitt game this weekend?
What was that?
What do you think about this Pitt game this weekend?
Honestly, Miami was the only game I was really nervous about. If they come in and play how they played against Alabama, just execute. And they tried a lot of little trick plays here and there, that was driving me crazy because I'm like, I know Miami's defense is good and you're trying anything to get it going, but some of the plays I was like, why? Why do you keep doing these little trick plays? And then when they would hit them, they would drop the ball or Tommy wouldn't hit the wide receiver wide open. It's just like, come on. Like, if you can't execute those, like, you got to switch it up, do something different. I do think we'll beat Pitt. The only other games I'm really worried about are Clemson and Florida, but Clemson didn't look that great, so I think we could beat them. My main thing is I think it'd be awesome if we went out, Miami wins out, and then it'd be awesome to get in the playoff and play them again and get that revenge. That would be amazing if we could do that and beat them.
Talk about, like if you somehow got matched up with them, you'd probably have to win your first game because I think they get a top 4 seed. But, I mean, that'd be good with me. I certainly wouldn't hear me complaining about that.
Yeah.
If there was some way that could happen. And, oh, my gosh, you thought the place was crazy. I mean, it would be neutral site at that point, but you thought Doak was crazy like that would be absurd. So, but I do feel good about the Pitt game. I will break them down tomorrow night, but if the team comes out, and again, you talk about like the trip plays and stuff like that. I just think it was frustrating because none of it was really working super well, but like you just had to do something. And I don't think they felt like they could just line up and beat them. You had to try and get tricky. And I don't know, man. If you just execute a little bit better, they'd have been fine. But hopefully that stuff does work against Pitt. You just can't go. I mean, you can't go 0-3. You can't go 0-3 in the ACC to start the year. If he does that, I think you just. I mean, I don't think they fire him at the end of this year unless they go like 5-7 or 6-6. But I mean, to save his. I mean, this is like, all right, bro. You're playing at home. You're way more talented. You're a 2-score favorite. Like, go out and win the freaking game. But we'll see, man. I thought the same thing against UVA. All right, Brock. Good luck tonight. Enjoy any sleep you can get beforehand. Go take a nap today at some point, and hopefully everything goes well. Everything goes smoothly. And bro, it's twins too. I forgot about that. That is crazy. Good luck to you, man. Did I lose you, Brock? I might have lost him, but I did say good luck right before the end, so that's all that matters. I wish my well wishes, but he'll have to hear it back on the replay. Listen, we've been telling you about Sleeper's free $20 entry just very quickly, and then I'll go through some comments and we'll get out of here. Kind of a longer one today, but Sleeper has a free $20 entry. So we'll play the more or less game tomorrow night, and you can, Brock, I see you lost connection. No worries, man. Good luck this weekend. The free $20 entry, if you use our code, you don't even have to deposit. So there, we'll give you free $20 because you're all sad about Miami and Virginia games back to back. $20, use our code DFNS. If you do deposit, you still get a 100% match up to $100 if you're a first-time depositor. But go download the Sleeper app, get your free $20, and make some money with us when we play the more or less game tomorrow night. Appreciate Sleeper for their support. Let me go through some comments, and then we'll get out of here. Wife is alumni of FSU, by Norvell. Some of them won't want Jimbo back. I agree with that. A lot of the big boosters won't. They'd have to get around that somehow. $60 million, including new staff and buyout. This is pretty steep. Yeah, I don't know if they can afford it or not. The one thing that is good, so I think when Napier gets fired this year, they owe him half the money up front. Florida State can just make payments over the next, whatever it is, 8 years or something like that, which you're going to lead the ACC, you and Miami, in TV ratings this year. You'll have that extra $8 or $9 million coming in from the ACC. That won't be a problem. Like, the money will be there. It's just, if somebody was giving you an extra $10 million a year, do you immediately want to spend that on a buyout? Probably not. So that's why you're hoping things work out with Norvell. I do think they would have the money. I know that's kind of crazy to think about, but I don't know if that's how they want to be if that's how they want to go. Who would be realistic options if we went 5-7? I mean, people are enamored with Lane Kiffin. I don't think Lane Kiffin's leaving Oxford. I think he's really happy. I think you're going to end up with a group of 5 coach. Maybe you could pull somebody out of the Big 12. Maybe you could pull somebody out of like kind of a low-level ACC. Could you go get Rhett Lashley? I don't know. I don't think you go get Dilly. I think he's happy at Arizona State. There's no ties here. You might be in a bidding war with Arkansas for Lashley. I don't know. I don't know that there is some magical name out there. And so do you go get a group of 5 guy that you think can recruit better than Norvell? I mean, for as much of an idiot as he is, at least Napier can recruit and bring in talent. And so, not that I'm suggesting you get Napier, but a group of 5 guy can work if he can recruit well. So that is probably the direction they would end up going. I don't know if there's a realistic like Power 4 name out there that you could go and get. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Fran Brown, it seems like it's lost some of his luster. I mean, Manny Diaz is a name that's going to get tossed around because he was here. I don't know how realistic any of that is. Maybe you could get a coordinator, a big-time coordinator like a Brian Hartline or something like that, who is going to be an elite recruiter, and pair him with a good offensive coordinator and make him kind of just run the ship. I don't know, man. Like, I can't be doing – we're 3-2. I can't be doing hot whiteboard, even though I just did. I don't think that Dion has enough health left in him I think this is his last year at Colorado. I think he's setting up for an exit. What happened to the UNLV guy? Where did Marion go? Where did Brendan Marion? Yeah, that's a good question. Brendan Marion, he went to, is he at Sacramento State with, is Vic there? Is that where he's at? No, he's the head coach. No, that's not where Vic, yeah. Where did Vic go? Either way, where did Michael Vick go? Why can I not remember this? Where is Michael Vick now? Norfolk State. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Levin. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get Brendan Marion from Sacramento State. I think you want to see him do a little bit more. He might have worked as an OC, but I don't think he's coming to Tallahassee. Why can I not remember Norfolk State? All right, that's all the time I got for today. Could you imagine Jimbo and Muschamp teaming up here in town? Bro, it's like a 2010 All-Star team. It feels like what the Lakers did when they went out and got Steve Nash and Dwight Howard when they were both 1,000,000 years old. Maybe it would work though. I don't know, man. Recruiting would be better. I'll guarantee you that. Jimbo and Muschamp would be better on the trail. I don't know if that's realistic. Let's just go be Pitt, Wake, and Stanford, and then we don't have to talk about this anymore. I don't have to be depressed as I am right now. So, all right, that's all I got for today. Again, appreciate Guthrie's as always. Appreciate Tallahassee Ford, Sleeper, and Drink Halo, our presenting sponsor of the morning show. We'll be back tomorrow night. Listen, I think we have like 3 things coming out today. Clay Fink's film review. I'll put that out at noon. And then I got 2 other videos. Actually, one will probably drop tomorrow. One will probably drop Wednesday morning. But we'll have more coming for you. Clay's film review. I'll do that at 11. I'll do that an hour early. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. We are inching closer to 20,000. So if you're not subscribed already, I mean, you got up at 9 a.m. or skipped work or class or whatever to watch a morning show. So make sure you are subscribed. Clay's film review is like 2.5 hours. So you can kill your whole day at work. Appreciate you guys as always for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon. Go Noles.